So this is the 89 made in Korea Squier Stratocaster that I picked up a couple of days ago. And when I first got it, I said, you know, it's a bit rough around the edges. Maybe I'll leave it that way. It's a player. And, you know, I'm not looking to, dress it up at all. But after I got it home and started cleaning it up, I said, you know what, I'm not going to be happy if I don't at least try to clean this up, try and buff out some of the scratches and clean up the pick guard and this all the metal work, the chrome and such. So I started to just do a test of the paint on the back, and as you can see, I started out with quite heavy scratching. I mean, we've got buckle rash all over the back here. This is really quite it's almost pressed into the paint. It's not really like scratches. It's almost like the paint is dented, and it's on thick in areas. So we'll see what we can do about that, but I was dealing with an area that looked a bit like that, and it's not so heavily dented, but pretty well scratched up. And I started out with just kind of wet sanding a little section near the bottom of the back of the guitar, and started with 1500 and worked my way up to 3000, I think, and then I buffed it out, and it's really, it's coming out really well. So based on that test, I'm going to go ahead and strip the rest of the guitar down, take the electronics out, and really give this a once over, try and clean it up and get rid of the scratches as best I can. But I'm encouraged by how this part of the buffing came out. The front also has scratches, not nearly as bad as the back, but there's definitely some fairly extensive scraping from the pick going back and forth, and so I'll be taking all of this stuff out and giving it a once over, polishing it out. By the way, if there's any doubt, at least on this guitar, whether or not the made in Korea Squiers were made out of plywood, I had done some research and they said, well, some of them are made out of plywood, or some people said no, they're not. This one most definitely is made out of plywood. I don't know if you can really tell. You can see the different layers here. You can see the plywood in the neck pocket. So this one definitely made out of plywood. The thing is heavy as all get out too. So, I didn't really care. It plays well. The electronics are fine for the most part. The jack is crackles a little bit. When I take this all out, I'm going to clean this up, see if I can take care of that issue. If not, I've got a spare jack that I can throw in there. So overall, I'm pleased with this purchase at this point. The neck, it's a maple fingerboard, and it's all it's a maple neck and fingerboard. It's all one piece. It's not a laminated fingerboard on top of a maple neck, so it's all one piece. The frets are pretty well worn. I'm going to see if I can do a slight fret level and dressing, because I quite frankly prefer not to sink any money into trying to refret or do a partial refret on that. but I love the neck on this guitar. I've already clearly taken that off, and we'll be stripping the rest of this guitar down in a short while. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this camera and start unscrewing some of this electronics to see what we got going on underneath there.